I love Christmas. It's a time for reflecting on what's truly important in life. Things like family and friends. It's also a time to reconnect with your past, thanks to old traditions. It truly is a beautiful time. But when I was a kid, I didn't give an F about any of that crap. I wanted the presents! So, with that in mind, I put together a list of the hottest toy for each year of the 90s. Gonna be honest, doing research for this list was a bit tricky, and there were some conflicting reports, but what I tried to do is go with toys that were corroborated by multiple sources. So let's get right to it! 1990, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles started out as a kind of really violent comic book. In 1987, the comics were adapted into a wildly successful animated series, which, in turn, spawned action figures. And by holiday of 1990, these toys were highly sought after. And honestly, I pity any parent who had to figure out which Ninja Turtles toy their kid wanted, because there were a lot. There was Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael, April O'Neil, Casey Jones, Splinter, Shredder, Bebop, Rocksteady, Usagi Yojimbo, Panda-Con, Ace Duck, Metalhead, Krang, Genghis Frog, Mondo Gecko, Napoleon Bonafrog, Monty Moose, the Turtle Party Van, the Cheapskate, the Turtle Blimp, the Pizza Thrower, the Technodrome playset, Mikey Myers, Donnie Kruger, Raph Voorhees, Leatherface Leo, Dwarf Don, Borderline Racist Mike, Farmer Donnie, Rappin' Mike, the Unholy Spawn of Trolls and Turtles, April O'Neil's Boss, and that's just to name a few.
Genesis does.
16-bit arcade graphics.
You can't do this on Nintendo.
1991, Sega Genesis. While doing my research for this article, I found a lot of sources that stated the SNES was the highest selling item for the 1991 holiday, and that's not true at all. The Sega Genesis outsold the SNES nearly 2-1 that year, despite the fact that the SNES had launched that year. This is thanks to a little blue hedgehog named Sonic. Well, I mean that and an incredible aggressive marketing strategy by Sega of North America. Sega's success that holiday led to them holding 65% of the video game market by January of 1992, wresting control of the market from Nintendo. I'm not sure why people remember things differently. True, in terms of lifetime sales, the SNES outsold the Sega Genesis by nearly 20 million units, but this was in large part due to post-1994 sales, when games like Donkey Kong Country gave the system a second wind, while the Sega Genesis... Oh, that poor thing. It was on life support. 1992, Barney. Barney and Friends hit public television in the United States in 1992, after being on home video since 1988. The success it immediately enjoyed was absolutely unbelievable. What? No, come on. Please don't make me say that. Fine. The success it immediately enjoyed was absolutely super de-duper. Considering each episode started with a plush Barney, it's little wonder every kid wanted their own stuffed Barney. It's what I got that year for Christmas, along with matching pajamas.
Plaza Hotel Reservations, may I help you?
Howdy do. This is Peter McAllister, the father.
1993, Talk Boy. When Home Alone 2 hit theaters in 1992, Tiger released the Talk Boy, which was based on the fictional electronic voice recorder that Kevin McAllister used to accomplish his shenanigans. Sadly, the original version of the toy didn't feature the device's banner feature, the ability to play audio back at a slower speed, resulting in a lower pitch. Thankfully, in 1993, the deluxe version was released with the feature included, allowing kids everywhere to play some sick pranks, yo.
Hi kids, we're home early.
Hi kids, we're home early.
Tiger's Talk Boy tape recorder comes with audio cassette. Batteries not included.
It's the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Teenage Defenders of Earth.
1994. Power Rangers action figures and toys. Power Rangers is like a weird Frankenstein's monster of a show. It was, and still is, made by stitching together footage from the Japanese Super Sentai series with American actors and storylines. The show features monsters, superheroes, giant robots, and more giant robots. It's like a toy manufacturer's wet dream. You had the regular action figures, plus the cooler, but now that I think about it, creepier, morphing action figures, playsets, and the holy grail for any fan of the show, the Megazord set. That thing was so cool. What Would have really liked to have gotten that for Christmas that year, Santa. I mean, don't get me wrong, penguin slides are cool, but I kind of feel like you dropped the ball that year, Santa. 1995, Pugs. I guess Pugs count, because they're in the toy group of dogs. I don't know. Pugs are man's affront to God and natural selection. Don't get me wrong, they're cute little buggers with incredibly lovable personalities, but they've been bred to have faces that leave their eyes completely vulnerable to injury, that are so compressed the poor little fellas can hardly breathe. What? Oh, Pogs! Okay, Pogs, that makes a lot more sense. Pogs were great. They had everything on them. Sports teams, TV show characters, movie art, companies, you name it. Now, I've read that Pogs originated in Hawaii as the cardboard seals found within the bottle caps of the Pog fruit drink. The kids used to play a variation of the Japanese game Menko, a game that originated in the Edo period, which was then brought over to the mainland US in the early 90s by enterprising businessman Alan Rapinski, who founded the World Pog Federation. But that's bullshit. We all know Steve Allen invented the Pog. 1996, Tickle Me Elmo. Fun fact, North America was thrown into the grip of mass hysteria in December of 1996. How else can you explain the violence, the unbridled greed, and the sheer desperation that the seizure-prone amalgamation of electronics, plastic, and fluff inspired? You had scalpers buying up all the stock stores had and reselling them for outrageous prices. Looks like some things never change. You had people violently fighting over Elmos like blood-fevered Vulcans fighting for the right to mate with a female. Then there were the charity drives that utilized the toy to create buzz, like this one, in which a Wichita radio station stranded a Tickle Me Elmo in an abandoned building. When the station reached its goal, Wichita's fire department and other first responders showed up to rescue the dog.
Shaking violently, apparently from the cold, Elmo needs immediate medical attention. His doctor has prescribed bed rest and plenty of love.
Humans are so fetching weird.
Well, if it isn't Tamagotchi, her new favorite pet.
Yes!
1997, Tamagotchi. Ah, Tamagotchi. Nothing could instill a sense of chronic anxiety and guilt like you could. Originally from Japan, Tamagotchi is a portmanteau of the Japanese word for egg, tamago, and the English word for watch. Watch. These things were such a menace and so attention-consuming for kids that I remember my school banning them. It turns out schools across the United States banned them. 1998. Ooh, I hate Furbies.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was.
By 1999, Pokemon fever was in full swing. Not only were there video games, 1999 alone saw the release of Pokemon Yellow and Pokemon Pinball on Game Boy Color, as well as the incredible, totally deserves a sequel of some kind, please get right on that Nintendo Pokemon Snap on the Nintendo 64. Not to mention Super Smash Bros., which featured Jigglypuff and Pikachu as playable characters. But there were also a myriad of toys, like the electronic Pokédex made by Tiger, and the wildly popular Pokemon trading card game. That's to say nothing of all the apparel, eating utensils, and other miscellaneous crap that had these little creatures' faces slapped all over them. It's really hard to believe that the original games had only come to the States the year before. Of course, most of these toys on this list were also fads that exploded overnight. But the crazy thing about Pokemon is that, unlike most of the other toys on this list, it managed to transcend fan status and cement itself as a serious phenomenon. It's been almost 20 years since Pocket Monsters first invaded North America, and they're still going strong. I mean, there are 2 new full RPGs that have released this year for the 3DS, and I'm willing to bet that those games are on quite a few kids, and adults for that matter, Christmas list. It's pretty darn incredible.